Man, I tell you what, bro, you don't want E. coli.
Dude, how bad was it?
E. coli was the sickest I've ever been, personally. It put me out of commission. I mean, I got a high pain tolerance, and it had me curled on the ground, and I was home alone. Maxie was in Boston.
And it was when you woke up that morning?
No, so it was. So let's say I'll paint the picture. It was a Friday night. We both ordered Blue Plate, and we're eating whatever. Everything was all good. I'm like, wow, that was fire. 10 minutes later, I get like a huge pain, like basically on my pancreas, like right underneath my sternum.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. It felt like I got stabbed, like out of nowhere. I was walking to the couch and literally fell to my knees. That's how much pain I was in. I fell to my knees on my forearm. I'm like, wow, I don't know what's going on. She's like, holy shit, should we go to the hospital? Like, she's never seen me like that. And
right.
So it was a little alarming. It kind of calmed down. I was like, whatever, I'll just lay on the couch or whatever. And it kind of died away. So I didn't think much of it. I'm like, wow, maybe it must have been Blue Plate or something.
Yeah, gas pain or something.
Gave it to that. The next day.
This is the worst ad for Blue Plate.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Blue Plate. The food was fire. It turns out it wasn't from Blue Plate. But the next Saturday, I would say about midday around the afternoon, it was over with. So basically, the pain subsided. It started right here in my pancreas, then kind of like moved to my oblique. And then once it transferred over to like my colon area, it was my colon. Once it transferred to my colon, it was done. I mean, it was like bathroom every 10 minutes and then straight cramps and pain. I had to lay down. I mean, it was rough. So from that onset, I had my mom come over and kind of watch over me. We went to urgent care and, they took a look at, a couple of things, my blood pressure and whatnot. They were like, oh, okay, like, it doesn't seem like it's colitis or anything yet. So they were like, go home. Let me know how anything feels. If your stool becomes bloody, then come back. As soon as I got home, stool was straight blood. TMI, yes. Stool was straight blood for 4 days on. And from that, I literally thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh,
I'm losing way too much blood.
This is the end. Yeah.
I've seen this in movies.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the end. And I'll just send my last text now. Hey, guys, I really appreciate
Group text. Thanks
everything you've taught me. Thanks for teaching me those kettlebells back in the day.
Your third grade teacher's like, why am I in this group text?
Yeah. I'm sending Miss Sanchez a message, everybody. I'm like, yo, this is the end, I think. And later that night, we went to the ER, and I got put on the IV. Everything was chill, and I was supposed to stay overnight, but I had to get the CT scan and all that. And I had my mom. They gave me the craziest painkillers ever, and so they gave me the hydrocodones. One of them still didn't work. It was 400 milligrams, and so I called back, and they're like, "Oh, we'll take 2."
It's down on the whole
I took
bottle.
2. That's 800 milligrams
Jeez,
of hydrocodone, and then I was just in another fucking world.
Yeah.
So it was rough. It was pain and then just real high.
Yeah.
For 5 days. So yeah, that was rough. But a week later,
and you were you at home?
I was at home the whole time
For 5 days.
5 days, but
Shit
out of
and blood.
commission. Yes, all blood.
And then what happened?
So they also gave me antibiotics as a addition to the hydrocodone,
Right.
And then things start to solidify. So that gave me some hope. And then they basically diagnosed it as colitis. And then once I sent in the stool sample, it was E. coli. So it was basically a parasite bug. And it fucked me up real good.
Here's the thing, though. Why did they misdiagnose bloody stool?
Well, I didn't have the bloody stool initially, right? So when I went there, it was like, do you have blood? And I was like, no. But it was until I went home.
Okay.
Then it was like,
were you able to call them and tell them this?
No, I had to go to the ER. I was in that much pain.
Oh, okay.
So I skipped the urgent care again.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
So at the ER, when they heard that you were
bleeding,
what did they say?
They're like, CT scan. So they had to check everything, make sure everything was all right. And then
Gotcha.
like, oh, your colon's real inflamed.
Right.
And then they diagnosed it as colitis, but there's a lot of different kinds of colitis.
Is there any type of colitis that you bleed from?
You can bleed from all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of tricky. Like, even like ulcerative colitis or like certain different colitises you can also bleed from. So it is hard on them as well. But at that point, they knew like my colon was infected.
Yeah.
But I didn't send in a stool sample before that. So it was just tricky.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all that's to say is I don't want to go back to Mexico. I'm scared, bro.
Jeez,
I
man.
can't go back.
See, that's why I've never gone.
Yeah,
That's literally why.
Yeah, and it's like
People go and get a bug or
you always hear all that and you don't think it's for real until you go and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna brush my teeth. But like we brushed our teeth with the tap water. Turns out that was like number one thing no one else did except us. We were the only ones on the retreat that did that.
wow.
Everyone else is like, oh yeah, just use the jug water. I'm like, oh, there's a jug in here. Okay. So yeah, I missed the memo on that. But
Dang.
only positive was I lost 7 pounds.
Shredded. Shreds.
I'm kind of ripped right now.
You got ripped to go, and then you got ripped after.
Exactly. So I got a little aftermath rip that I'm definitely not mad about.
7 pounds.
So I'll say there was a pro of E. coli. That was the one pro.
Yeah.
Got me ripped.
Tell all your female clients, hey, look, if you want to lose a quick 7 pounds,
You could just pop down to Sayulita for a day, come right back up.
drink some tap water.
I won't see you for probably a week.
Right.
And once you're back, we'll hit it hard.
Yeah, we're going to hit it
And
hard.
we'll say this is a transformation.
Make sure you take pictures before you go down.
Period. So yeah, I've kind of kept the weight off as well, which
Yeah.
is pretty interesting. So everyone's like, "Man, you're getting lean." I'm like, "Yeah, I am getting lean." You know, I've been
I
putting
figured
in
out
work.
this no eating thing.
Yeah.
It's been working.
Yeah, man. Turns out I just shit blood for 7 days, and it kept it off.
Yeah. Feels like a cleanse.